this video, we're going to learn about CSS and the basics of CSS or cascading style sheets. Up till now, we've covered a few topics related to HTML. We saw how HTML can be used to add different stuff and to structure our web page. But in this video, we're going to see how to add design, presentation, how to structure our text in a more better way, how to make our website presentable and the way we want our website to appear. So for that reason we need style sheet. Okay, so now let's open up our editor. You can see that I have written out this basic code and this is how it is displayed. If you check it in the browser, this is how this content is displayed. It just looks like normal random text because this is just created using HTML. Now what do we want? We want to add few styles to this website. Okay, we're going to see the basic styles that we want to add to the site. So to add styles, there are three ways. There are three types of CSS. The first one is called the inline CSS. The second one is called as the internal CSS, and the third is called as the external CSS. The inline CSS is also called as the style attribute. It is given to a particular tag in the web page. Only that tag will have a style attribute. Okay, then the internal CSS is also called the style tag. It is just used to structure a single web page. If you have a single web page, then you can use the style tag. And then the third one, the external CSS, is also called the style sheet. When you have a website which is a collection of many web pages together, you can always use the external style sheet to see add styling to your website. Now, styling needs two main attributes. The first is called the property and second is called the value. We saw attributes, right? Attributes always appear in the name and value pair, right? So the same thing is with styling. So now, suppose this heading is here, h1. It is displayed like this. Now what if you guys might have seen that headings are displayed in the center. So what if I want this heading to appear here? So we can do that by adding internal, or we can say that element style, inline style to our h1 tag. So how do we do that? We can do that by going into this h1 tag, and inside this we'll add an attribute called as the style attribute. So we'll just type style, then equal to and double quotes. Inside this we'll write the property that we want. So the name of the property that we're going to use to align our text is called as the text align. Then we'll write colons, we'll give the value of center, and we'll add a semicolon. As soon as I complete this semicolon, you can see that my heading has shifted it to center. So what did we do here? We went to this particular tag, this h1 tag, we added an attribute called as style, and inside that style attribute, first we gave a property that is text align, then we added a colon, then we gave it a value of center, and then we added a semicolon. So this is how you write a property inside a particular tag. This is how you use inline CSS. Why is it called inline? You can again tell that is in the same line and it's affecting only this single line. Now what if I want this heading or this paragraph to be also in the center? So again I can do is I just copy paste this code, and again if I place it in this paragraph tag and I'll save it, now this paragraph will also be centered. You can see that it shifted, right? Now this paragraph is in center, but does it look better? It does not. So for paragraph we'll use something called as justify, and after you justify, you can see that it shifted back to the way it was before. What justify does is whenever there's irregular lines left, like you saw before, if I remove this and I write center, you can see that there is irregular lines here. Okay, there's not proper lines is not used here. So after using justify, you can see that now it is very nice. It looks better than before. Now this was inline CSS. Now if you want to add styling to each and every tag, then you have to go and add it to every single tag. But what if I want all of these headings, this heading and this subheading to appear in center? Is there a way I can do that just by writing one single line and not going to each and every tag? So yes, I can do that. First that I'll remove this, and again I'll remove this one too. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll go in the head tag, and below the title tag I'll create a tag called as the style tag, and I'll close this style tag. Now inside this style tag, first I will write the name of the tag that I want to select. Here the tag that I want to select is h1. Okay, I want this h1 tag. You can see that, right? H1 tag here, then h1 tag here. So I want this h1 tag to appear in the center. So I'll select the h1 tag, I'll open this curly braces, and inside this I'll write the name of the property, that is text align, and I'll give it a value of center. Now you can see that both my h1, this is also h1, this is also h1, they both have shifted in the center. Now again I want this h2 to also be shifted in the center. Okay, so again what I'll do is I'll write h2. Again I'll use the selector that I want, I'll write the name of the tag that I want to select, then again I'll give it a property of text align, and again I'll give it a value of center. Okay, now you can see that h2 is also shifted to center. We can do one more way. Rather than writing h2 again, what we'll do is we'll just cut it out. Here after h1 you can give a comma and write h2. You can see that h1 and h2 have been shifted to the center. Now what is the difference between this one and this one? Now suppose I added a color. Let's add a color, and I'll give this h1 color blue. I only want this headings to appear blue. I don't want the subheadings to appear blue. Okay, I want a different color for the subheading. But as we have added h2 here, the same styling that we apply to this h1 tag will also be applied to this h2 tag. So the better way to do that is just write them separately. Now you can see that the heading has color of blue and h2 has a color of black. Okay, so this was how to use style tag or internal CSS. Now this changes. Now as many as h1 tags you have throughout your page, this will be the changes that will be added to all of the h1 tag present in your web page. Now the next thing that we're going to see is called as the external CSS, or how to add styling to our complete website if you have 2-3 web pages. So what we'll do is, you have created this folder HTML and CSS. Inside this we have a file index.html. Now let's add a new file. You can just use the shortcut Ctrl N, that creates a new file, and we'll save this file. We'll save it with the name of stylesheet.css. okay, hit enter. Now you can see that style sheet has appeared here. Now again what I'll do is I'll just remove this style tag so you can verify the changes for yourselves. We'll save this. Now again our page is back to normal. What we'll go is we'll go in the style sheet again. Now here we'll write again the selector of the tag that we want. We'll hit enter. We'll write text align. We'll use center. Okay, and again we'll add one more, h2. Again we want text align and it to be center. We'll save it. Now you can see that there's no changes appearing here. Why? Because we did not link our CSS file to our HTML file. So how do you do that? How do you link your CSS file to your HTML file? This is an external file that we created. So the syntax to do that is by using the link. You write link, then you write the href, then you write the name of the file. Now as it is in the same level of hierarchy, you can see that index and style.css, they are both in the same level of hierarchy. We do not have to go to any folder. So we'll just write the name of the file. Then we'll use an attribute called as the relation, and inside this we'll write style sheet. Okay, and then we'll use another attribute, it is called the type attribute, and here we'll give it text/css. You can see this option, text/css, and we'll close off this link tag. Alright, let me just remove this. You can pause the video, see how you should link a CSS file. What we did here was we added a link to link our CSS file to our HTML document. Alright, This is the way you link your CSS to your HTML. And now you might have seen that before adding, I'll just cut this out. Wait a minute. I'll cut it. I'll just expand this, or let's open it up in a browser. I'll refresh this. You can see that this is how our page looks. And now let us link our style sheet here. Okay, and you can see that these are the changes. Our H1 and H2 should appear in the center. This is what we want. Okay, we'll save this. I'll refresh this. Now you can see that our style sheet works. Now let's see if it works. We'll give a color. Let's give H1 a color style of blue. Okay, I'll save this. Let's refresh our browser. You can see that now our heading has colors. Okay, so this was the basics of CSS that are required. That was it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.